All right, reciprocity. Five ways to create reciprocity. I'm going to give you mine, and if later you'll come up with yours, that's fantastic. But for now, mine. So the first stuff, it's all about giving, right? It's all about giving. We talked about it. So the first one is give stuff for free. Give stuff for free. Okay? You don't have to give it for free, but this is one way. Give it for free. We call it, in terms of master entrepreneur, we call it there's a name for that, right? When you give something for free? A front end. A front end. Okay? That's a front end. Okay? A front end. So I'm going to run a few mics just to make it a little bit more interesting, and tell me what can you give for free. It can be in your business, or you saw that in other places. Doesn't matter. But just I want as many ideas as possible of what can you give for free as a front end. So if you have an idea, just stand up. And anybody stand up? We're going to get the mics. We want to get as many. I'm not going to write that, so if you hear something that you didn't think about, it's good to put it in your notebook. Okay, let's start. Marilyn.
Free sessions.
Free sessions, absolutely. Free sessions. So if you're a consultant, a coach, a therapist, a masseuse, free session, absolutely.
Sample products?
Sample products, absolutely. Sample products. It's been done for years with shampoo, with cosmetics, anything. Yes. Podcast, for example. Let's take all those stuff, under sessions, if it's something like that. But it's great. Yes.
A free video.
Free videos, again, podcast videos, PDFs, all this kind of stuff. Absolutely.
Intake or free advice.
Absolutely. Intake session for coaches, for consultants, is very, very powerful. Or free advice. So it's not a free session necessarily. It's not about the time, but it's about the content of that free advice. If it was said, that's okay. Anybody else for something? Okay. What do you see us doing? What are we doing as Open Circles? For example, the business bootcamp, okay? So it's true that the business bootcamp costs 47 euros, but like somebody says, I need to eat, right? So, and we build it this way. We build it as a free event, and you pay for lunch. You will see, in most places it will say free event. There will be a little asterisk saying, we just ask you to pay for your food and drink. And by the way, there are two reasons for that. One reason is that the NBC and any other organization will never let you bring people in if they don't know that they are going to come in. And in a free event, most of the free events that you have in the world are getting between 5 to 10% show up. Okay, so you get 1,000 people to register, and you get between 50 to 100 people to show up. So for an organization like the NBC, they cannot do that. They cannot say, you tell them, well, I'm going to bring 1,000 people, make meals for all of them, and they will buy it. They cannot do that. That's why for the paid events, you need to reserve that meal. But for non-paid events, we cannot do that. So that's one reason. The NBC forces us to buy dinner or lunches, in this case, lunches for everyone. So we are not going to take it on ourselves. But another thing, and this is Holland thing, right? You paid 47, the Dutch people show up. I mean, at least I want my sandwich. It comes to consistency. We'll talk about it later. Okay? The 47 euros is actually here, but the event is free. Okay, so this is an example. But we're giving a lot more because I told you, give first and keep on giving. Okay, so you can see that we're giving what you're talking about. We're giving videos. We're giving online courses. We don't usually call it a video. We just tell you, get this online course. And it will be 3 videos. And it will be, one after another. And you need to opt in, and you're going to get them. Okay, it can be the reports that we used to give. It can be stuff that we're putting on Facebook or any other social media. It can be anything. I mean, I don't know if any one of you, I don't think it's the nicest thing. I'm going to improve that. But I don't know if any one of you had a birthday in the last 7-8 months since we started it, and you got from me a message on LinkedIn saying, hey, happy birthday, and here is a video that I think you should see. Anybody saw that? Okay, it cannot be just you. Maybe you don't read our messages, but if you had the birthday in the last 7-8 months, we're doing that. Okay, it's just a video that we think, or an audio. I can't remember right now if it's a video or an audio. So we think that it's valuable. It's a video, right? Whatever. And let's be honest. I don't do that. Okay, there's somebody that is. Anna is doing it. This part, I'm not doing that. But we're trying to find as many ways as possible to give stuff for free. The reason that Open Circles is the fastest growing company in our field is simple mathematical equation. We gave more stuff for free. If somebody wants to beat us as a competition, all they have to do is to consistently give more than we give. Okay? I don't know if you remember, but we talked about it, I think, in the Master Entrepreneur, and I told you the best front end ever is... Anybody remembers? The best front end ever... No. Yeah. The best front end ever, and that's exactly what we're talking about, is you want to take your biggest competitor, you want to find out what is their best-selling product, and if you can, you give the same product for free. you just kill them. It doesn't matter how big they are. So usually a training like the Business Bootcamp, a 2 days training will cost easily €1,000 if it was for a little bit more advanced businesses, and we just give it for free. I mean, what's the chance that somebody will pay €1,000 without checking us first? You understand? So this is important. So make sure to give stuff for free. Now, I'm going to go over all the 5 ways, and then I'm going to give you a chance to sit for a few minutes with yourself and choose what you want to do. First, I want to cover all the 5 ways. So let's move to the next one, second one. So we still talk about reciprocity. What is the second thing you can do to create reciprocity? And that's something that somebody mentioned that before. It's called overdeliver. Overdeliver. You heard that from me before, probably. It's part of our internal structure as a company. We're striving to over-deliver in anything that we're doing. I'm not saying that we're successful every time, but we're striving to do that in anything. If it's in the content, if it's the marketing, if it's the communication, if it's the customer service, whatever we're doing, we're trying to over-deliver. Over-deliver means exceeding their expectations. Okay, everybody has expectations. Always people have expectations, even if they are not communicating them. People have expectations, even if you can understand or figure out what their expectations are, and you can over-deliver that, which means give them more than that, you just created somebody that feels that they owe you, which this is what it means, reciprocity. Okay? So when we're giving a business training for 2 days that is free, people have very low expectations. They expect that it will be sold every 5 minutes. They expect that the quality will be low. They expect that the room will be some kind of a dungeon in somewhere in the lower part of city or whatever it is. And what we're doing is we're trying to do everything the opposite. So we'll take the best place in Holland that can deliver a training for 1,500 people or something like that. We'll get the best training that we give. We'll try to get the best material. We'll try to get people active and involved all the time. We'll try to give you gifts as much as we can. I mean, if you came to the Business Bootcamp, you went home with gifts. That cost a lot more than the €47. Okay? If it's a book, if it's a DVD, depend on the year, by the way. Right? If it's the books or the DVDs or whatever it is, there will be something that you will go home with. Okay, so people get over-delivered. Not everybody liked the Business Bootcamp. That's not what I'm trying to say. But they came with certain expectation. Most people get more than expected. We only do 2 sales pitch, basically. In training like that, if you ever did something like that in the States or in England, which are very big on that, you will get every 45 minutes a 30 minutes sales pitch. That's how it works. Okay, we don't do that on purpose. Okay, we want to make sure that we're over-deliver. Okay. You need to find ways, and again, I will give you a little bit of time after that, to figure out what can you do in your business to over-deliver. Okay? Again, it can be content, can be marketing, can be communication, customer service, whatever it is. Okay? You need to find a way to over-deliver. And it's simple. Don't get stuck on the words over-deliver. Just, what do they expect? How can I deliver them more? If they come to your office and they expect to get a cup of coffee, why don't you give them a cup of coffee? Which this is one of our students did. She just created a beautiful, beautiful cup to go. And it cost her probably with the quantity she buy €3 or €4, and she filled it up with the best coffee because she has the best coffee machine from Italy in her office. So they get great coffee in the session with us. She's a consultant in the session, and then usually they remark that, hey, that's a great coffee because it is a great coffee. Okay, and she says, would you like to take something to go, somewhere to go? And they say yes, and she just gives them this beautiful cup that they can go and take home. It's not a plastic thingy; it's a beautiful cup. That's over delivery because they expected coffee. They didn't expect the best coffee and the cup to go home. It's as simple as that. Does that make sense? Okay, you will have to find out for yourself, but over-deliver is important. Third thing, personal touch is something that creates reciprocity like crazy. Okay, when you do something which is personal for your prospect or client, they feel the connection and they want to do something back. Every one of you went to a restaurant. And if you got a really good service, which is not so easy to get in Holland, but if you got really good service, you feel inclined to give a bigger tip, isn't it? You know that. Nothing that I'm teaching you is new. You just need to figure out how do I use that in my business. Okay? Years ago, probably I'm talking 15 years ago, just as an example, because it's a great example, about 15 years ago, somebody contacted me by email. I think it was still emails, already emails at that time. And she contacted me and says, listen, I know that you have a certain training where you're talking about death, where you're working with death. Anybody did the demon experience? Okay, so we're dealing there with some of the issues that people don't talk about, like sex and death and stuff like that. So we're dealing with death, and she heard about it, and she says, listen, I lost my brother, he committed suicide, and I don't know how to deal with that. Can you give me any advice? So I don't know this woman, never heard about it, she wasn't a student or anything, but I sent her a long, long email, what I think she can do. It has nothing to do with training, was no sales pitch or anything, just telling her this, what I think you should do. And 6 months later, she suddenly showed up in this one experience training, which was very expensive and very intense. It was a 1-week training when we worked with people from 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and like this. It was very intense, and she chose to take it, and since then she was a student of us for many, many years, did everything. Okay? Because when the moment came for her to do something about her life, she was thinking, you know, who gave me something? It's not something, it's not conscious, but that's how it works. That's how it works. And that's why it is important for me to be honest. You won't see a lot of trainers that will, that in the break, because the breaks are very precious for us. You know, I need to keep my voice, I need to go over my material again, I need to recharge and everything. In the business bootcamp, I'm always there. I never went out of the room, ever. I'm going to the toilet while you're doing the moving lunch. Okay, you all saw that, right? Now, I didn't invent that. I learned that. I learned that from Deepak Chopra. Anybody heard about Deepak Chopra? Yeah. Okay, he's a big, you know, he's big. I met him about 20 years ago in Germany. There were 2,000 people in the room for a lecture of 1.5 hours, 2 hours maybe, given in the evening. I drove all the way with the bus, together with all the Dutch people. We took a bus to see him. And he was giving a session for about hour 15 or something like that, and then sent us for a, I don't know, pee break or something like that for 20 minutes. He was sitting exactly like, I just copied. He just sat on the side of the stage and says, guys, if you have any question, I'm here. And you know, for 20 minutes, people were just queuing to get it. And I said, that's not how Tony Robbins does it. That's not how anybody else that I ever saw does it. He doesn't have a bodyguards. You know, many of those have kind of a bodyguards. There's people from the team that look big and strong, and they will not let you get close to them. I learned that. And it works because it creates this personal touch. And if I can help, I'm helping. And if I cannot help, I cannot help. I'm not promising. But this personal touch makes a difference. Does that make sense? For most of you, it's easier. You anyway work one-on-one. You anyway work one-on-one. Find a way to make that personal. I think I shared it. No, probably you didn't hear. Maybe you heard that. I can't remember right now in what trainings I'm sharing it. But for example, there's this dentist that I know that he every evening after dinner he goes over his list of clients that he had with them. For that day, he had with them some painful treatment like root canal or something like that. And he picked up the phone and he says, "Hey, how do you feel right now?" That's it, guys. It's a minute conversation. Just imagine what it does to those clients. Do you understand? Yeah. If they will ever be asked, you know, do you ever got dentist to recommend me? What do you think they will say? Okay, personal touch. It's important. Next one. Yes, sorry. My pages went on. The next one, this is actually connected to that. Show that you care. We'll talk about it in the evening in the more brainy session. Show that you care. I didn't say that you care. I can say from here to eternity, guys, I really care about you, and I really would love you to be successful. I really, whatever it is, doesn't work. You need to show that in whatever way. This dentist showed. This dentist, in a very simple way, with picking up the phone for 1 minute, showed that he cares. But it can be other ways. It can be other ways. Sometimes I will see people that I didn't see for years suddenly showing up for training, and I will remember something that we had a connection maybe 6 or 7 or 10 years ago, and I will ask them, how is it going? By the way, it's not a game or anything. It's real. You know, if you don't care, and we'll talk about it in the last session today, it's so important. If you don't really care about them, then maybe that's the wrong audience for you, or maybe you're in the wrong business. So you should care about these people. You should want them to be successful. You should want them. And if you're not, that's okay. Just there's something wrong, and I suggest that you either change those people or change what you're doing. You should. Most of you don't have so many clients. I mean, I have 12,000 a year. You know, I cannot honestly say that I care for everybody because I don't remember the faces. But the more people are coming and I'm starting to get to know the people and I'm starting to talk to them in breaks or whatever it is, I care. And it will happen to you too. And if not, change something. But we need to show that we care. Does that make sense? Guys? Yes. Let me know if it doesn't make sense for you. And by the way, you don't have to take all of those. I'm just giving you ways to create reciprocity. People will always want to work with somebody that cares for them. Right? Yes. Okay? So that's create reciprocity. And the last one that I want to mention, and this is important. We don't do that a lot. Let them know that they are special. And let them know that they are being treated as special when it is happening. We do that sometimes. Please don't take that as an invitation, but we do that sometimes. Somebody calls the office and says, listen, I want to do these trainings. I even registered, but I need a little bit of a different deal. We don't give discounts for trainings because we just give you the best deal that we can. But sometimes people say, listen, I cannot really afford right now to pay it this way, so can I postpone a little bit or whatever it is? And most of the time, we are flexible in that. Most of the time. It creates a lot of a hassle for us in the office, but most of the time, we accommodate what we can. But we don't take it for granted, and we don't let them take it for granted. We tell them, listen, just that you know, we are, doing a very strong exception for you. You're special, we treat you special, but please make sure that you don't take it for granted and don't, walk all over us. So the people that are getting it, they know that they were treated special, and they appreciate that. So it's important when you treat somebody special, you also don't take it for granted for you that they will understand. No, they won't. Okay? You need to make sure that they understand that. Does that make sense? Yes. Wonderful.